It's Wednesday, September 21st. It's about an hour and 15 minutes into trading. Let's kind of go over what's developing so far here. You can see here on the 15-minute chart what you have here is a first bar that's red near the top of the pre-market range, and then you had a little bit of a reversal of green, and it probed up a little bit, and now it's coming lower. So if you were watching this at the open and you were thinking of maybe going long and seeing if we can kind of work our way up to this target up here, you might have on this second bar after watching the 5-minute chart, the first three bars didn't do much. Then you had a big push up. You kind of paused here. You were holding, and then maybe you anticipated right in here you were going to make a run up. So you could have gotten long here, knowing that, either you're going to go or you're not going to go. And then, you kind of pause around a little bit. You're holding the midway point of that bar essentially, and you work your way. You then get this breakout up here. Now, what happened here was this big failure bar. If you look at if you then watching the 15-minute chart at that point, you're long in here. You're holding the midpoint of that bar, essentially trying the breakout here. This bar here went up and then came down below the midpoint of that bar. So you're sensing a failure already, the typical, two up failure where you go above the high of a previous bar, reach the midpoint of that bar. And at that point, since you're in long here, to me, I would be breaking even at this point. This isn't the greatest looking green start to the day. Anyway, on the 15-minute chart, you kind of paused a little bit. You might have given it a shot. It's a tricky day. And once the breakout started here, you had like a double high here again on the 5-minute chart. Once the breakout happened, you're watching this whole area, boom, breakout, that's when it should go. So once it doesn't go, I'm breaking even at that point, personally, just knowing the whole context of the day with the Fed and, knowing you can have a lot of bouncing. So what's developing here now on the 15-minute chart, you're kind of coming down to the midpoint of the first bar. I could see this now chopping around all morning here, kind of, maybe taking out this low, but not really reaching our key low that I discussed pre-market that you really got to get below. And then if you just chop around all morning until the Fed announcement, that's setting up whatever low develops here and this high, that's setting up targets for potential stop running once the announcement's made. So in other words, let's say we go and it's 1 o'clock and we're kind of having some kind of range in here. This will be the high, let's say, and this will be the low, or maybe it'll come down and take out that low and then bounce up a little bit, whatever that intraday low is. At that point, the Fed announcement could you'll have two targets to watch very clearly. If it goes up strongly, it might just take out stops, immediately reverse. If it goes down strongly, it might take out stops and reverse to the upside. But either way, once it takes out one of those levels, if we kind of hold in there and then continue, that then sets a target up here and maybe even bigger picture, on the, this daily high up here, and then maybe heading up there. If it heads down at that point and takes out a stops but then can't reverse back up, we could be moving to the midpoint of the prior day like I discussed in the open video, and then heading a lot lower. So that's what I see developing here. Just, again, it wasn't even a great trade to try to go long here given the structure, but if you wanted to do it, you had about 40 minutes to just watch it and easily know that if it doesn't go, break even. And now I could see this, like I said, let's watch and just see for the rest of the morning here what kind of highs and lows forms here. I don't think we're going to break below this area before the announcement. It doesn't seem like we're going to get above the intraday high at this point before the announcement. And those, whatever, the high, intraday high and lows are prior to the announcement, those are going to be key areas to watch to see if you get failures at those points on any kind of a volatile, reaction, and then failure or continuation, past whatever those intraday high or lows are. And again, the targets beyond that. If you get some kind of a move down and it doesn't fail and continues, then watch for this area to be taken out. And if it goes up and you don't get some kind of reversal down, then you're targeting up here as a start. So let's watch what happens. I think it's going to be a boring morning up until that point, and there'll be a lot of just fake moves, taking out some stops here. Anyone who's trying to trade in here, you'll see some choppy action. So let's watch it and see if that develops.